10, Purdue midfielder Emily Mathews here on Regan's Corner. Big time athlete for you, Hens. You got a Purdue Boilermaker here. So, Emily, what's new? What's hopping? What's hopping in Michigan?
It's been hot and just training and enjoying a little family time.
Absolutely. So, how did you start in soccer?
I think I started soccer when I was like 4 or 5, just the little rec league. I think the first time I played, the soccer ball touched me and I think I ran off the field crying. But I think that's where it all began. And then eventually I just fell in love, and then I became the cherry picker. So I would just stand next to the goal, wait for the ball to come to me and just score. And then, I joined some more teams and eventually just loved it.
Absolutely. So, when is kind of the first moment you just said, I love this game?
I think when I joined my first travel club team, I found a group of girls that, loved the game just as much as I did. So got along with them. And I think having them really made me love the sport too, because I got to spend time with, some of my best friends and just play the game, you know what I mean? So I think that's when I really loved soccer and was passionate to keep going and committing to it kind of.
Absolutely. Kind of talking about what was kind of the first kind of steps when you were playing on the club scene there in Michigan?
Yeah, so I actually just was playing just some indoor, like a rec league on boards, and some guy came up to me and he was like, do you want to join this club team? I think you'd be a great fit, and whatever, you can come to tryouts, which was really nerve-wracking at the time, but definitely worth it, because then I joined that club team and we ended up doing very well. And the other clubs in Michigan were very good as well. So we always had competition to play, not only just here, but, all over the place. So pretty good.
Absolutely. So, kind of the first moment that I'm going to be a Division One athlete here. What was the kind of light bulb moment?
I'm not sure there was one, because so when I started looking at colleges, I was in 8th grade. So it was so new to me. I didn't even know what I wanted to do, what colleges I was even interested in. So that was kind of pretty early on. And I visited my first college in 8th grade, and then eventually, a lot more later on, and actually committed when I was a freshman in high school. So I've been looking forward to playing college soccer for quite a while now.
Okay. So, you committed to Purdue right off your freshman year.
Yes, at the end of my freshman year, I committed and have stuck with it, and here I am, and I love it.
Absolutely. So, what was it like kind of going as a freshman on the first time on Purdue's campus?
Well, I immediately loved the campus because it was kind of close together. I felt safe, and it didn't feel too big. Um, and then obviously I ended up falling in love with, the coaches, and the facilities were always super nice. And yeah, it was kind of scary at first though, because you're seeing all these, older students walking around and doing college. I was like, I can't imagine even doing that. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Just looking at all the students' bodies,
Yeah.
school and club days after you committed, was there any other schools that were kind of piquing your interest, or was Purdue just I'm going to Purdue or anything like that?
I think a couple of the Big Ten schools I was definitely interested in. But eventually Purdue stood out, not only because of the soccer and the people, but also the academic side. So they had an engineering program, which I was interested in. So that also played a role.
Absolutely. So, kind of going into the training and stuff like that, going up to your freshman year and everything, what kind of things that you credit your success to getting into that kind of atmosphere where Purdue, a lot of the Big Ten schools are looking at you?
Yeah, so a lot of their recruiting happened at like the club events, and we would travel all over the country for these, tournaments and games and stuff that they would scout. But it definitely took a lot of work outside of even club um, to get where I am today. I train with Next Level Training, which is here, and kind of like the best players train all together, and it definitely helped me outside of even just club practice for like technique and touches, and because the more touches you can get on the ball, the more comfortable you can be when you play.
Absolutely. So kind of the fundamentals of soccer and stuff like that. So like with touches and stuff like that. So how do you kind of navigate how many touches do you have per game?
I think they have a lot of technology out now that can literally track, how many touches or how often you get the ball, how many passes are complete, and that kind of stuff. I think we're getting some new technology this year, which should be cool to see. Like, even like where on the field you're more likely to get the ball. Is it the right side or is it in the middle? And I think making adjustments off that is definitely beneficial. You know what I mean? So, but I mean, the more touches you get, obviously, the more comfortable you're going to be with the ball, and when you get on it, not panicking and executing.
Right, right. Okay. So speaking on kind of your high school days and everything like that, so your senior year, the COVID year, so how did that kind of help you or hurt you in the sense of either having a season or didn't have a season with the recruitment process since you're already bent on going to be a bowl maker?
Yeah, so I mean, it was definitely a change. Our club teams didn't get together anymore. You couldn't have group sessions. So I actually, one of my trainers here, like hosted like an online session that happened every day, and it was just individual cone drills and a little bit of like lifting and more like just workouts, because we weren't playing the game, and it took 2 years for us to actually play a game again, which was really exciting when it ended up happening. But I think that's where we lost out, was like the bigger game and playing with other players. But we made it.
Absolutely. For sure. So, your freshman year at Purdue, okay? So, how did that feeling? You've been on the campus a little bit before, prior to this. So, how did it feel being a student in West Lafayette?
Freshman year was a little difficult just because all the COVID rules and everything. Like, you couldn't, leave your, especially with soccer, we were trying to like limit the amount of contact we had with other people just because we were tested, I think, once or twice a week. So it was, if you got it, it was kind of like, oh my gosh, because now you have to go through protocol, and then you're out. You have to go get your, heart tested and whatever else. So I think it was definitely more closed, like socially, than we probably would have liked. But we became super close as a team for sure. And yeah.
Yeah. So, how was that kind of the mental grind? How did that make it e- being on this new campus, being away from your family for a couple hours away? Um, so, how was the adjustment period kind of for you?
The adjustment period for me was pretty good. I loved being like on my own, independent, stuff like that. School was definitely a challenge because, you're starting college classes, but it's like different. So nobody really can like help you that much because everything's new for everybody. You know what I mean? So that was definitely a challenge. But the soccer side was, I've been playing it forever, so that wasn't as difficult of a transition.
Absolutely. So, kind of talking about the NIL deals and stuff like that, versus your freshman year versus your sophomore year, where your freshman year, it was like ironclad, where if you got this and that, you had to watch whatever rules that you could break. Um, versus your sophomore year where it was the floodgates were open.
Yeah, I think it's like a huge opportunity for all student athletes to kind of like put themselves out there a little more and even like help businesses or companies promote their products and stuff. And yeah, and even our school like gives us resources to try to like reach out to people, and put yourself out there. So it's been super cool.
Absolutely. So, kind of endorsements wise, usually we save this for the hot corner, but what is your two dream endorsements?
Definitely Nike and hmm I'm gonna have to say like a Chipotle or something. You know what I mean? Like you always need some Chipotle.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. So, kind of talking into the fundamentals of soccer and this and that. So, what is some advice you would give to young student athletes that are on the grind for the club teams or on the grind for the high school teams in Northwest Indiana?
I would definitely say just do something that separates yourself, whether it's like getting extra touches, just going out on the field, like increasing your fitness or doing whatever it takes to get a little bit of an edge on people. Um, and then also, if things don't go your way, like stick with it because I mean, there was a time when I was the player on the bench, and I think that really helps create you as a player and changes your whole mindset, kind of.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, what what are some training? What's your favorite training activity for soccer?
I'm a big passer, so I love all passing drills. I could probably work on my shooting a little more, but passing is kind of my game. I love build up, like um, yeah, whatever leads to the goal. You know what I mean? So that's definitely what I like.
Absolutely. So, with your season kind of coming up pretty quickly, who do you have marked on your calendar?
I think we play most Big Ten teams, and it's a full season. So, and then we'll start out with some other mid majors, and I think we even play like Southern California in our preseason game. So it's going to be a challenging season for sure.
For sure, absolutely. So, what are some goals for you in this year going into your junior year here?
Yeah, I definitely want to keep our team. We had a very successful season last season. Keep winning games, and then individually help my team to score some more goals and yeah, lead the team kind of.
Absolutely. So, from your freshman year to your sophomore year, what are some things you worked on for that jump from scoring 6 goals last year versus your freshman year where you didn't score any?
Yeah, I definitely started to embrace my role as an attacker. I think freshman year I was a little more, keep the ball at all costs and not, take risks and go forward. And then I think we also gelled more together freshman year, and I could make a run through because I knew the people behind me, were going to cover. So I think just it was a combination of like more confidence and also just the people around me, and we knew how each other like played, so that I think like helped that.
Absolutely. Okay, so who are your teams? Who's your pro teams?
I'm a Barcelona fan just because I visited Barcelona, which was a really cool experience, and there's obviously a lot of great players on their team.
Nice, nice, nice. Okay, who's your favorite NFL team?
Oh gosh, I don't watch much NFL. I guess it's Lions, right?
I
But
I guess.
that's just where I'm from. But I don't really follow football that much.
Hey, I don't blame you. Being from Detroit, I don't blame you. Um, but Anyway, getting back into the swing of things for soccer and this and that, when is your season kind of start for practices and stuff like that?
Yeah, so we start preseason August 1st, and that'll last like about a month before our actual season and also before school starts. So we get there early, and it's a lot of training, and you start games 2 weeks in, so it's pretty fast.
Absolutely. What is the kind of mental game that you have to have as a great midfielder as you are?
Um, I think I've learned that you're gonna make mistakes, so you kind of have to move past them quickly because once you get caught up in like oh my gosh, I just lost the ball, or I didn't complete this pass, or I think it goes downhill. So it's like I move on and I'll make the next pass. So I think that's been a huge mindset thing for me, for sure.
Okay. Absolutely, for sure. Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, because you can see it in the stats, you can see it in the film. Um, the improvement, like you said, kind of from being kind of your nature. Uh, you went from a little bit more Magic Johnson on that soccer field to a little bit more MJ on the soccer field in your second year. Okay, so kind of transformation and stuff like that. What are we going to see from you in your third year here with that big drastic change from your freshman to your sophomore year?
I'm hoping something better. I think with the team we have, it's possible. I'm shooting for 10 and 10, 10 goals, 10 assists, and then we'll be good.
Hey, you can't beat 10-10. Okay.
And then we'll be good.
Hey, you can't beat 10-10. Okay. You got a season double double. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So, kind of going into soccer and stuff like that, what are some of the mechanics to be worked on to be on the level you are as a midfielder and stuff like that? Um, kind of how do you explain like what you need to work on, what you need to do this and that?
Yeah. So I think when you get to like the college level, everybody can pass, everybody can dribble, everybody can, play the game. But there has to be something that differentiates you. And I think just like vision and reading the game and understanding, like, okay, I see this defender move, shift to the left, that opens up, another passing lane. I think just reading it and, seeing the game is definitely beneficial. So, I mean, you can improve that through more games and playing, obviously. So
Okay. So, what is the craziest superstition you or teammates ever had, either in club or at Purdue?
um in club, one of our superstitions was we would take a Sharpie that I think was touched by some women's national team player, and we would all write a little star on like above our kneecaps. That was like our thing, and we could never lose if we did this. And but we retired that after we won uh, one of the national championship games. But that was probably one of our core superstitions. You got to have the star.
You just gotta have a star. Speaking of
Yep.
stars, playing for the United States of America, okay, how was that kind of feeling? Because you did it for several different years. So how was playing for the U.S.?
It was an amazing experience. Playing with some of the best players in the country, coming from all over the place and different lives, and coming together and just playing like one game. Like it was super cool, and everybody was always super talented. Um, and obviously, it was a lot of pressure too, playing with some of the best people. And I think one of the things I learned. And like you would go to these camps and you would train, and then you'd probably play like a couple games at the end or whatever, but you were never guaranteed the next camp, so it was always performance based. And I think that can teach you something, because you had to make the most of the moment you were in because you weren't guaranteed another one. You know what I mean? So it was
Right.
it was
And kind of having that pickup kind of mentality, did that help you with your high school seasons and your club seasons, and then with eventually now at Purdue?
Oh, for sure, for sure. And being in like pressure situations, you have to be able to be calm and perform. So I think that helped as well.
Okay. So, pressure situation. Let's say you're just absolutely ahead of the next girl, and it's you and the goaltender. Okay. So, what are you thinking in that moment?
How can I get the ball in the back of the net kind of thing.
For sure. For sure. Okay. So, the next segment on here will be the hot corner. So, I'm going to ask you questions to get you to know you a little bit more, Emily. So, let's go. Okay. Top Gun number 1 or Top Gun number 2?
Top Gun number 2 for sure. I just saw it a couple days ago. It was very good.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay. So, what is your favorite snack?
I'm gonna have to go with chips and guac. Really good.
Really good, really good. Okay. So, let's see here. What is your favorite pre-game meal?
Chipotle, of course. No, the rice, chicken, beans. You can't go wrong.
Hey, hit my girl up with the NIL deal with your Chipotle.
Yeah, for
You
real.
know, for sure. So let's see here. Oof. Okay. So, what are your goals in the next 2 years on the field and off the field?
Hmm. On the field, I hope I can, do well because I do want to play professionally after the college game. So I think that's one of my, major goals in mind. And then off the field, um, just do well in my classes. I'm in some pretty hard classes with mechanical engineering, so to just finish strong, kind of thing.
Absolutely. Being in one of the hardest majors at Purdue, because I graduated from Purdue Northwest. So I kind of seen all the engineering a little bit here and there, but not fully. So how do you balance from being one of the best uh, soccer players in the nation to balancing a very hard major?
I think it's all time management. I have to wake up early, go to classes, and then I have to focus in soccer practice, and I have to put aside, the school until after, and then it's always a homework grind, and wake up the next day and do it again. So, but I think it's definitely rewarding.
Absolutely. What's the hardest road trip that you had to do in the first 2 years?
Hmm. The Nebraska trip's always rough. I think Iowa maybe.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Nothing but cornfields for miles. Um,
Yep. That's
s- for sure. So, kind of talking about the pro game, is there any team in mind that you would like to be drafted to?
hmm. I would honestly go anywhere, but I think San Diego would be kind of fun, to play and be in the warm weather and right on the water there.
Absolutely. A little stay classy San Diego, a little Ron Burgundy action, Um, so kind of going into all the goals and everything like that, how do you kind of check them off to get into that level, the pro level, the kind of build on your first 2 years here?
Yeah. I think it's just performance based. You have to make an impact on the field, and you have to be better than the players playing against you. And I think just bringing it every game and making an impact for sure.
Absolutely. Just having a name. So you're starting that already with being an all Big Ten selection, first team. Okay. So how did that news kind of come out, and how did you kind of react when you're one of the best in one of the biggest conferences in the United States?
Yeah, my coach called me and told me, and I had no words. I was like, wow, like I was really happy, but I was also thankful that, I had a team that helped me achieve that. And yeah.
Absolutely. So I like to say thank you for coming on. Hopefully we can do this interview in person at Purdue, because fun fact, I graduated from Purdue Northwest, but I've never been on Purdue's campus at
Really.
all. Really, really. So maybe in the future, but I am glad to welcome you to Regan's Corner, athletes. So stay froggy, my friend.